At that time, she regained consciousness, threw his hand away, and grumbled. Tien Noyet looked at the man in front of her and felt a secret joy. Fortunately, he was not the 80-year-old rich real estate tycoon. At the same time, there was someone's voice outside. Only this room left, she's certainly here. In the next second, she heard a loud knock on the door. "Ma Tien Noyet, open the door now." She cursed in her mouth. "They try to get someone to caught me." Ma Tien Noyet put her feet down and slowly get out of the bed, but her body can't control. Her knees buckled down. Looking at the dress in her hand, she thought that, fortunately, it had not been torn apart. In a struggle way, Ma Tien Noyet stuck to the bed and moved forward the door. Suddenly, a hand grabbed her wrist. He asked where she is going to go. Noyet explained that the people outside are looking for me. You just stay quietly in the room and wait until they leave, then come out. The man said that he could kick them all away, but on one condition. Ma Tien Noyet had to kiss him. Mother Mok sent people to caught Ma Tien Noyet. He said he could kick them away, but Ma Tien Noyet needed to take the initiative to kiss him. Seeing she didn't have any movement, he angrily continued, "Don't let me say once more time." She looked up at the strange man standing before her, thought silently, "I had already slept with him. A kiss was not a big deal, just considering he was a pet." Suddenly, she put a smacker on his lips and leaped up while he was totally dazed with a painful nose. But he was not angry. On the contrary, he smiled mischievously and immediately picked up the phone to ask someone kicked all people outside. After that, he turned around, grabbed the arm of Ma Tien Noyet and kissed her. Shortly afterward, whatever will come will come. In another scene, in the apartment, Ma Tien-Nguyen seated on her cold bathtub and remembered the moment she sneakily leaped out, while the strange man was deeply asleep. She hoped never see him again. She cannot understand why her life unexpectedly turned out like that. Suddenly, the bathroom's door was opened. In the shocking, Do asked Tien Noyet, "Why not turning the light on when she's at home?" At the next second, she saw Ma Tien Noyet's pitiful appearance. Do ran to hug and console her. It's okay." Tien Noyet cried and told what she had been through. They wanted to force her married to the real estate tycoon and drugged her, even though she's just an adopted child. But even raising a dog after many years, they must have emotion. Why they treated her like that? Because she's not good enough? That pitiful trauma made Do also burst into sympathized tears. Suddenly, her body fell down into Du's arm. Do felt the temperature of her friend's body. She had a fever. Do hurriedly picked up the phone to call Mok Noyet's ex-boyfriend, Lak Duong Lak. Duong Lak, Noyet is sick now. I cannot take care of her by myself. Can you come to help me? But on the other end of the line, there was the voice of Mok Tuet Nu. If she is sick, bring her to hospital. Why are you looking for my Lak Duong? From now, don't call to bother him. He is the one who had already a fiancé. Mok Tien Noyet has an affair with her sister's fiancé. It is not good thing. Do immediately hung up the phone and threw it away. Scolded Mok Tuet Nu is such a shameless other woman. At the same time, the doorbell rang. In an angry mood, Do shouted loudly, "It is so noisy!" When she opened the door, she was suddenly surrounded among a group of people in black suits, standing in front of the door. The man nodded in satisfaction. When he knew Mok Tien Noyet is here, he immediately got people pass by. K-Uyn defiantly asked, "Where the girl is?" His coldness made Du being shaking like a leaf. But she still resolutely blocked the door. Not let the strange man get in the house. Luke K-Uyn pushes the opponent aside and arbitrarily entered the house. Hearing a faint sound in the bathroom, he approached closer and discovered Mok Tien Noyet, stooped in the bathtub with painful, tired expression. Luke K-Uyn reached a towel to wrap around her body and gently held her in his arms. At that time, Du appeared behind him, yelled loudly, "How dare you come here without permission?" She hadn't finished her sentence. Luke K-Uyn scolded back. "She has such high fever. Why not take care of her?" That makes Du does not know how to argue. He quickly held Mok Tien Noyet and went out. "I will take her to your hospital, follow me." After her friend went out, Du still wondered who this man is. Why she, unconsciously, don't dare to oppose him. Luke K-Uyn hurriedly brought her to the car. The assistant happily smiled. When seeing that situation, the CEO is rarely in such worries. As soon as receiving the information, he immediately appeared. Luke K-Uyn also wondered by himself, finally, who the girl falling from the sky is. In another scene, in the hospital, the beautiful and young nurses said hello to Luke K-Uyn. He gently put her into the hospital bed. Then he arranged a nurse to come and check for her. Feeling the extreme burden on her shoulder, the nurse unconsciously trembled. After that, the nurse worriedly told him, "CEO Luke, she just has a cold. There's no problem anymore. When the fever reduces, she will get well soon." When the nurse took IV hydration, she felt very insecure. As soon as the needle was put, it was bleeding. Luke K-Uyn stamped his foot on the chair. The chair's surface was cracked. She was so scared, as if being out of her wits. This man is poisonous. Only one night sleeping with this woman makes her got fever and hospitalized. Pensively and thoughtfully, he looked at her. In front of him was just a normal girl. Why she made other have to pay attention as much? Standing beside, Du cautiously raised her voice to call him. "Are you CEO Luke? Now, it is no more problem. Maybe you should go first. I will stay here to take care of her." She could not finish her words. Luke CEO's cold eyes turned to glance her. Du was startled, sweating profusely, then stammered, "I'm going out to buy some stuff for Noyet. In the quiet hospital room, Mok Tien Noyet slowly opened her eyes. Suddenly, a hand held her hand. She thought it was Du's hand. After turning back, she was surprised, then woke up and cursed. "Lak Duong, why are you here?" he said. "I'm sorry. Noyet Tuat Nu had taken my phone, so I could not receive your call." Mok Tien Noyet immediately turned away. She didn't want to see him. Lak Duong continued his entreating. "Not being next to you at that time is my fault. But after seeing the history call, I came here immediately. Please don't get angry." Mok Tien Noyet still turned her head. "I don't understand what you are saying. We have already broken up. Noyet, please don't say that. You know clearly that I love you so much." Scorningly, Mok Tien Noyet looked at Lak Duong and remembered the scene of that day when Lak Duong and her sister laid on her own bed to make love. Mok Tien Noyet flanged the opponent's hand and asked him, "Is that your love for me? I'm afraid that I couldn't bear it." Suddenly, Lak Duong tightly hugged her from behind. "Noyet, I love you so much. Please do not leave me." Mok Tien Noyet tried to struggle and shouted loudly, "Get your hands off me!" At that moment, Du appeared and pushed Lak Duong away. She stood in front of her friend and yelled, "What are you going to do? Clear out as far away as possible." Lak Duong still had intention to push Du away. All of a sudden, Tuat Nu's voice resounded outside the door.
What are you all doing?
The girl was drugged by her mother, 80-year-old rich real estate tycoon, and became his wife. On the second day after escaping from the claws of the mother, Mother Mok invited Mok Tien Noyet to come home to have dinner. On the villa's dining table, Mother Mok glanced at her husband and said to Tien Noyet,
You are no longer young. Your dad and I helped you find a partner. He is about your age. Furthermore, he has doctoral degree aboard. On Saturday afternoon, take an appointment with him.
After hearing that, Mok Tien Noyet had a cold smile. Obviously, they had invited her to have dinner because of this purpose. She carelessly replied, I still don't want to get married right now.
Mother Mok slammed her hand on the table and angrily shouted,
It doesn't depend on you.
The fact that she had run away earlier made Du felt hatred for Mok family. Mok family had lost their business connection.
I will forgive this mistake, however, and this time you have to go.
Mok Tien Noyet slapped on the table.
You all deserve it. I was drugged to serve an old man who likes to play with women. I won't go anywhere. If you want to go, so go by yourself.
After saying that, she turned back and walked away.
Mok family took care of you in many years. They did not do charity. Did you think that you could pay nothing? This was the time for you to requite to Mok family. After hearing that, Mok Tien Noyet stopped. She gripped the handle of her bag, then turned back and coldly asked,
After this time, I and Mok family will not be related anymore.
Seeing her fierce eyes, Mother Mok immediately replied,
Certainly.
Mok Tien Noyet agreed to go there on Saturday. Then she turned around and left.